All right, we're back. February 23rd. I got a returning guest here, Jeff McFall. He was a socialist, full-blown socialist for a while, turned the page, YouTube, taking some videos down. And I will be doing something with Rumble, and I will post that video because I had so many people that
Oh,
keep
excellent.
asking me, because you know what? That's exactly what happens. When you get canceled, a lot of people now want to really hear the story. And I just got to get my wife on this to find it. I'm not a tech guy, as you can tell. All these guys got all these headphones, and I'm just like, how do I even pull the chart up? I'm very old school, as you can tell. So
I,
I will
I
get
hear
that
you, dude.
done, and I can't wait to post it up there so people can hear your story with the whole job issue when it comes to health event and all that. So real quick, tell us. I was gonna go before we go into some charts and stuff. I was gonna ask you, what is the feel in where you're at? Tell us, like, obviously you don't have to tell us exactly where you live, but the state, the area that you're visiting or where you're working. What is the state of mind with inflation? Well, what are you feeling right now in your area where you are?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, it's people obviously more and more between just uh, 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 um, random events that you hear about, like at a grocery store, where people are like, look, just staring at the prices and just like, oh my God, what has happened? How am I? When did this happen? Like, when is when did a hamburger get to be like $4 a pound? When was like rib? I posted a ribeye steak the other day, $43 a pound. You know what I mean? Like, people are looking at these things like, oh my God. And then there's just a general sense of people know that something is really wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be that or the most recent thing, we have the president, like, the whole situation with the Justice Department saying that he's kind of too feeble to stand trial, but like, we're looking at the fact that he's still running the country, you know. So there's just any number of things out there where people generally know that something is wrong, and it's still taboo to talk about it, though. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like that's the state of denial, and we've talked about in a previous video, that when I look at like the silver chart, and I've posted it a bunch of times, this like crossbow formation, inverse head and shoulders. It's been going for like 3 years, basically since the breakout in 2020 with the health event and such. I view that as denial, just like people trying to cling to this old way of life, and the fact that we did not just print up 5, 10, 15 trillion, who knows, um, that amount of money. So I think that we're just close to this event where we snap out of denial and actually come to terms with, oh my God, what the hell have we done over the last few years? You just get that sense. There was just the release this week about the potential or the side effects of the situation that was offered as a solution to the health problem, um, about all the various things. Chris Cuomo did a video on his platform where his doctor was like blasting this thing. I mean, so it's just, there's any number of issues where we are about to snap out of denial, and we're really going to have just a come to Jesus moment, for lack of a better term. So, anyways, long-winded answer to what I sense in my area.
No, that's why I like to talk to you. And I had other people that are from different parts of the country and the world too. And I just want to kind of hear. I had a guy from England on this channel as well. Um, he's a pub owner, pub lord, whatever he calls himself on X. Very good follow. A really cool guy.
Oh yeah, I
And
follow that guy. Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. I forgot for a second his Twitter handle, X handle. but yeah, I'd like to hear what is going on. And he was telling me stories with prices and how he's trying to get his business going, to stay afloat, basically what was going on and how much the beer costs out there, and food, bar food, just basically finger food, whatever you call it. It was really mind blowing just to hear from different parts. And out here, I can just tell, like, you go to, let's say I go to Tractor Supply because I need certain things that, for the farm, right? And every time I get the bill, every single time, okay, whether it's
Yeah.
Tractor Supply or anywhere, I kind of look like, okay, what if I did not have additional cash flow that I worked so hard to make it happen, right? Like if I did not have so many things that I was trying to plan for the last 5 or 6 years, I would be most likely right now, like most people are making videos and just complaining. I'm trying not to complain. I'm just trying to look for solutions, right? So
Yeah.
this
Well, and
is
that's
the
what this whole
vibe
thing
I
is
get
about,
out
because
here.
there's,
People are like, what? How
yeah,
much?
there is nothing that you can really do outside of, my chosen way of combating this thing is by, investing in precious metals. That's all I can do. It's, you say, like, people say that you put your money where your mouth is or whatever, and the only thing that I can do is opt out of the system of saving, that I was always taught, by just saying, hey, as opposed to keeping money in my bank account, like I used to, I still got all my money there for bills and all that stuff. I'm gonna keep the savings over in this bucket. And obviously that's completely separate from the speculative aspect of all this, which is like the miners and all that stuff, which maybe
Yes,
we'll cover in a little bit.
yes.
But yeah, no, it's just it
Speak
is
to
it is an
that.
amazing time. I actually, like, I really feel privileged to kind of live through it, even though I anticipate we're going to have some hard hard times ahead. Um, but so, oh, cool. We're going to get to a couple of
Let
these.
me
Let's
see. Yeah,
see.
since you,
So so
we
yeah,
got the
like,
first majestic here,
in,
right? Mm-hmm.
yeah. So this is First Majestic, which, I mean, again, all the miners have just been absolutely destroyed. And again, none of this is financial advice. I just make lines on charts, total amateur, and I try to take what I see on charts and just extrapolate it into what I'm seeing in the real world, which is a huge amount of denial. Like I said, I don't have the silver chart up here for you, but so the way I see things, like we the financial system is essentially just kind of a way of, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, right? And if you have, so this is a big triangle, right? And we got the silver squeeze, false breakout of that triangle, and then we've spent the last, what, 18 months or so in this kind of squeezing pattern below the triangle. If you have, what I wanted to show, if you can flip over to, so the 2008 financial crisis, you can see it down there. And since that point, we had this increasing or ascending trend line. You can go and see the big rally in 2016. You can see the rally in 2020. And then we broke out of that, to the upside during the silver squeeze thing. And then we broke down out of this triangle over the last, say, 18 months. If you can flip to the chart of the First Majestic SPY ratio, it's the one that
All right.
is, yes, this one.
Yep.
So in the world, like, the only way I can navigate the markets, or the best I can using charts, is by measuring how everything else is versus everything else. We live in a world based on the theory of relativity, right? So we can judge all the various assets out there versus one another as well, and to kind of gauge what value is in relation to everything else out there. So if you remember back to the First Majestic chart where we were in the financial crisis, it was at like whatever 80 cents or whatever. But if we're looking at it today versus the S&P 500, which we know is just doing great. I mean, this thing looks like crack up, boom, could be coming. It's just blowing out. First Majestic, if you price it in the SPY, is it's in the financial crisis of 2008. It is in the financial crisis. So somebody here, something is incorrect. Somebody's wrong, right? And a lot of
On
people post
here,
that on
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 here. Yeah.
Twitter or X, that hey, somebody's, something's wrong here. Somebody's got this majorly wrong. Because the silver miners are pricing if you price it in terms of the S&P 500, it's at essentially an all-time low. You know what I mean? Like in the depths of the financial crisis, when it looked like the entire system was going to shut down, we're way below where we were in 2020 when the world shut down. So I mean, you've got to think here that the miners are pricing in that we are going into a depression. You know what I mean? But the SPY is just is blowing out. So that event that we talk about, something is coming here real soon where things have got to equalize.
Just to interrupt just for 1 second, for those that are not familiar, SPY is basically, you're looking at the index, you're looking at the S&P 500, the AG meaning First Majestic is the stock ticker. And why is Jeff using AG? I talk about First Majestic a lot because besides MAG, silver, those are the kind of like benchmarks for the silver space when it comes to mining. Those are the top dogs basically that you want to look. Yes. So go ahead. I just want to
sentiment. Yeah.
Yes, I didn't want to make
so that's why these are so valuable here. So you can see that like when you're looking at silver miners versus the broad market, it's the worst time in their history, essentially. Couldn't be any worse. And however, we're looking at the S&P 500 and it's just these huge green candles all day long. So somebody is wrong somewhere. And that's where if you go to you can flip back to the First Majestic chart, just First Majestic. You've got, that's the one. Yep. That is a,
let me try again.
That looks like a pattern to me that's gonna blow out.
Let's see if this is the one. It's a little fuzzy, but
that's the DXY. Okay. So
the DXY. Okay.
So yeah, and again, I don't know if we'll have time to get to all this stuff, but
yeah, let's get
it's there
he goes. There he goes.
That First should be the one. Yep, that's First Majestic. So what that looks like to me is that silver miners have priced in that we're going into a depression, because if you look at their actual price in dollar terms, right? In dollar terms, they're below their 2020, well below, and they have been below the 2020 lows when they shut down the world, right? So what I see here is that the people that have been and there's been a lot of them calling for a massive recession, we're going into a depression, they've all been wrong. Like that's wrong, but they've still been able to, in a space like silver miners, they can bet against it, right? And they can throw a bunch of leverage on there. And these things are priced for a depression, but the Fed is not going to let that happen. This is an election year. They're not going to let that happen. So somebody's wrong, and either my speculation is that everybody that's been betting against, the easiest thing in the room, the silver miners and miners in general, and that's not going to come to fruition. We are not going into a depression. We're not going into a recession. Luke Gromen talks about this a lot. They are not going to allow that. We may be in a real one where people are talking about it in the grocery store, but those numbers that are coming out, they are not going to let us go into a recession in an election year. Sorry, I don't see it happening. And so that's when we're going to get a moment when people snap out of this and whatever that come to Jesus moment is, it's going to manifest itself in the markets. And these things, we know how these miners move when the sentiment changes. And the speculation is obviously that these things are going to absolutely explode. That's a 20-year, triangle with a false breakout and a false breakdown. And, you could, there's these things called around the apex moves, right? The uranium miners had a huge one. You could see something like that emerges here. And so if that's the case, you can use those you can use the ratio of SPY to First Majestic, right? The one we were looking at earlier.
Mhm.
And if you have First Majestic return to a level where it was previously, which at its high, First Majestic relative to SPY was at 0.2111, right? So at a 508 SPY today, with $508 is what the SPY is trading, we return to a ratio somewhere in there, and you're looking at $107 First Majestic. Today it trades for $4.50. And like people say, yeah, that's not possible. You crazy? Like they're dogs, and they are. But look at what's happening with the super microcomputer stuff. You know, like these things are going. I mean, we are in a bubble territory that is just unimaginable. And I think that it's finally going to be the time for the miners here soon enough. There's going to be an event, but again, all speculation. And until then, it's they've been probably the worst investment on the planet for the last 3 years.
Yes,
So
last
take
3
it for
years
what
it
it's worth.
was 2020 of August. I thought that that was it. We might have some pullbacks, and I've been dollar cost averaging. So just to make sure for the listeners, I'm also not saying this as any kind of financial investment and trading advice. None of that. I'm just trying to make sense out of this nonsense, and nonsense that there is plenty of that. So what me and Jeff are basically saying is we started talking about what's going on in certain areas and what is the feel from the people, and possibly having some other cash flows, anything going on. We're looking at how to beat inflation with possibly buying the most cheapest asset in the world. Like right now, platinum and silver are still roughly 55 to 60% cheaper than they were in 1980s.
So this is a key point
1980s.
too that we've got to bring this up here. So, and I just put up a post on this earlier. So I was looking at the PLG, right? This platinum group metals, you know,
Metals, yes.
just beat off the page for years. So, and you can again think of this as using the First Majestic to SPY ratio. It's just so happened that while these miners are at just absolute dog poo levels, you got the billionaires now showing up to buy these things. I mean, these things are trading for nothing. They're valuing I mean, I've been seeing for the last couple of months these junior miners, the explorers, they put out these drill results and they gap down. They gap down when they're like, hey, we just found 50 grams per ton, you know, gap down. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Incredible.
something has not been right of late. And again, all these assets, especially when you value them versus the broader market, are trading at depression levels. And so who shows up? Stanley Druckenmiller. You know, this other one that was today, Hyperion Capital, they're launching $1 billion fund. They're like, just go out and buy it all, dude. Buy it all. You know, just Peter Schiff did this on his, he put a tweet out yesterday. It was the growth in NVIDIA alone yesterday is greater than the value of the entire precious metals mining industry. So,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
reposted that one. Yeah, I saw that. It's incredible.
it is truly incredible. And so that again, that to me, that's denial. It ties in perfect to that silver chart that I look at, and it's just this massive bull flag. I'm sorry, when that thing breaks out, silver is not going to stop at 35 or 40. And again, none of this is advice. It's just my personal opinion. That sucker is it's gonna break down in the gold and silver ratio. We're gonna head down toward 30 to 1, 60 to 1, 30 to 1, and you get, you know, $2,500, $3,000 gold and a 30 to 1 ratio. You're talking $100 silver, like that. And so what's going to happen to these miners where everybody's been pricing them for the depression? I mean, it's the biggest no-brainer on the planet, in my opinion. And it's like people use the example of, oh, like if you could get a Ferrari for, a quarter of the price, would you? I mean, it's such a no-brainer. I can't. They are literally giving away. I mean, you're paying pennies for gold and silver in the ground. It's just insane. It's insane.
I always joke around. I'm sure you read some of the posts when I say you cannot run out of opportunities to dollar cost
You
average.
just put it up this morning with and look, the guy Craig Hemke, whom I follow. This is how the sentiment is in the market. If you don't follow that guy, he was like, when Newmont was down 7% yesterday,
He went nuts.
I mean, go and look at that post.
Oh, I reposted that one too. Yes.
There are nobody. There's nobody left. There's nobody left, and that's right when Stanley Druckenmiller shows up to start buying stuff. I'm like, I mean, come on, man. So
that's exactly right.
Just like they all showed up. They all showed up when in 2008 they were buying. I'm sorry, they were buying right before we went on the mega debt binge. All these guys were buying after all the people who had been buying their houses and buying, debt. All these people got decimated, just like they're being right now. And it's the same thing that happens over and over. And that's why this time it's going to happen so big. Like they've done it with so much money. We have lost all sense of what reality is in terms of the monetary unit under the whole thing. I mean, there's just, again, it's denial, in my opinion.
Total what denial. They say, Jeff, is the bigger, the bigger the rise, the bigger, the harder the fall. And the same thing as everything is going so violently down, like the miners have been for 3+ years right now. I also believe the move on the way up, and it may not happen, like you said, so fast. It could easily happen fast. It may happen over the next 2 years that people are just constantly getting caught thinking this is it now, I'm going to short it. And it just continues doing what NVIDIA is doing, what Bitcoin is doing. And just to finish, to put my disclaimer on this. So yeah, of course I'm going to be biased. I'm a big shareholder in Platinum. I like Platinum because nobody's really talking about Platinum. Talking about one metal that's completely thrown into the woods. Silver has been for sure.
$900 an ounce. $900. It's like 10 times more rare than gold. I mean, whatever the number is, it's insane.
It really is, and it was over $2,000 in 1980. So listen, I went big in SBSW, Sibanye-Stillwater. Everybody knows that follows me now for years, and actually I dollar cost averaged, and I post even snapshots of from my brokerage when I actually buy the date. It was like It was like a month ago. I purchased again. And now I'm like, okay, my sentiment is I would buy more. I would buy more if I had more ammo to buy. I just ran out of ammo because I find it hilarious. Like you said, I'm like, okay, I'll make fun of myself. I'll buy more.
I mean, and see, that's the thing. Like, now the thing is, you got to do it with a business that's not going to go out of business, obviously. But that's what, like, if these things actually have cash flow. I have one that I do. It's TRX Gold. I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, they have active production, cash flow positive, no debt. They're doubling production this year. And I look at it and I'm just like, hey, I've had the opportunity to buy their gold in the ground for pennies on the dollar for years. I'll take that, and it's a reasonable speculation. So anyways, but yeah, man, it's I'll post a chart of SBSW here in a bit for you.
Okay, I really appreciate it.
The way I look at it, I look at the world as a really big place, and these are really big charts that we're looking at. And that's the thing. We're at this point. This would be a good way to end it. We're at this point where we all snap out of it. This is a macro level thing that's about to happen, and who knows what it is? Could be something with the president. Could be something with the health situation. Could be anything. Could be all of them all at once. But
I'm going to make fun of myself, and every day on X, especially under the New America account, because I post a lot now from the Independence Arc, and I don't sweat it much at all. Honestly, it may sound like I do, because I would have no problem admitting, because I've been always telling people I love physical, like I love the fact of, so I don't sweat. I'm just very competitive by anything I do. I can even, it's pretty embarrassing actually. I can go with anyone on any day playing any game, and I'm going to be crazy. Like I have to win. So that's just my personality. So I have the amount that I'm not going to sweat if it goes to zero, right? If it goes to zero, I'm going to be mad because just I'm competitive, but it doesn't give me that anxiety because I've been talking about the precious metals and precious metals portfolio to be 70 or 80, 80 to 20 or 8 to 70, 30 or 80, 20. And what does that mean? Just for the precious metals portfolio, 20 or 30% into the speculation stocks and 70 or 80% into physical. And I've been saying that, and I always say it is not life investing or trading advice. I always found like I sleep way better at night when I do that. So yeah, I'm competitive, but it's been entertaining to watch how low can it go. It's been incredible.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I post on almost on all my charts, right? I got the laughing emojis, the crying laughing,
Yes.
you know. It's just because it is. It's like we're at a time where I see the world one way and most other people see it a completely different way. And, you know, it's denial. It's denial. So I just think it's funny. And it's a great opportunity, by the way. I mean, fantastic opportunity if you can stomach it. But, and I tell you what, we'll be doing these videos coming up as these miners do break out. Watch that.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I am on board. Like I said, I'm just kind of mad because I'm running out of ammo to buy more. But yeah, I'm looking at it with like, wow, like every day more and more. It goes one step up. I'm thinking this is it, right? Sibania goes up 5% in one day. The next 3 days, it's down 3% each day, if not 4%.
Yeah,
and then I'm looking at it. Okay. So it's I get it. But yeah, let's hook up again. Not to make a really long video. Let's hook up soon. Hopefully, if not next weekend, me and you will talk, and I will do something with Rumble. And I'd like to have you on every couple of weeks.
Yep, no doubt. It's fun, and again, like just like you did with the guy's handle too. It's Adrian Pub Landlord. It's
Adrian Pub Landlord.
Info Sup Highway. That's the guy. Yeah, that's how we got to do it, man. You know, we all just share our stories and kind of, you know, because people are snapping out of it. They're snapping out of it, and I think we got some interesting times ahead where we'll need level-headed thinking, and never hurts to have extra resources available. And I think we're going to get a big victory on our side of the house. You can see it building out there. You can see it building on the health intervention side of the house. So look forward to getting that video up that got scratched. And anyways, yeah,
we'll
talk to you soon.
Let you know. I'll talk to you soon. And we are out for today, but we will be back with Jeff probably next week. We'll keep you guys posted. All right, we are out. Thank you again, Jeff.